usually I ask the super, like, all right, we're doing an anthem.
He's over there.
And he's over there, because, like, he, like, pulls it up on his phone. And sometimes the refs are like, are we doing a walkout? And I don't know who really, it seems like Ducks should decide. If they're doing a walkout, if they're doing an anthem. Oh, yeah, Mike, right? Oh, and then the speaker, yeah. What, the biggest indoor facility?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably got to be compared to Legacy or...
Well, I mean, Legacy is huge because they added that whole basketball thing. Yeah. Legacy might be bigger because of that, though, because they also took away the other field is cubicles now.
What?
It's cubicles.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you go straight across. They used to be a full field. Like, this used to be a field. This was a full 11v11 field. And they, put the court down. That one they turned into cubicles. And I think the backfield, field 3, might be a field, still a soccer field. And then you have the little fields in the middle. And then there's the outdoor field in the back, which I think is still a field. But yeah, they lost. You gave up one spot as cubic. They use it for training. They train their 8 million employees. Sit in front of this screen and get trained for mortgages, Now it's funny, the people that offered to buy this before, whatever his name is from UWM, what Ishbia did, was the pot guys, the pot girls. They were gonna do a pot in here and just level everything up. Yeah. And the guys that had built it for soccer didn't really want to do that. But they would have it would have been racks and racks of pot. Yeah. Climate controlled, it's already. Can you imagine? There you go, yes, that's the word. Anthem, walkout. What's up, man? That's a countdown.
Match week 5 begins and ends right here at UWM Sports Complex for a rematch in the National Futsal Premier League. Tonight, Futsal Factory Academy looks to reign supreme over Inter Detroit after beating them 11-6 last week at high velocity. Inter Detroit was able to keep it close going into the half, so they'll look to close the gap even more and come out of this matchup with points to show for it. Hello everybody, my name is Garrett Pogg, and thank you so much for joining us for another stellar matchup in the NFPL. Thomas Dono was the standout performer last week with 5 goals and an assist after only scoring 11 for FFA all of last season. He'll look to keep it rolling tonight while the trio of Edwin Gomez-Ruiz, Eduardo Cardenas, and Nate Booz will anchor Detroit's team after each scoring 2 goals last time around. With that, let's talk about the keys of the game, starting with the home side. Head coach Drew Ducker is placing a heavy emphasis on isolating defense, making sure that the ball can't get to Inter Detroit's star players and not allowing goals in transition like they did last week. If they can handle the ball well, they'll be in good shape to take home another win. For Detroit, head coach and director Edwin Jimenez is encouraging his team to play with more urgency and quicker pacing. He knows that they can't stop to think against this FFA team, and he wants to move quickly on and off the ball. On defense, they'll need to be more aware and put some more effort off the ball, as a lot of the second half goals were off the backside from wide open factory players. Let's talk about the starting lineups. We are getting set to start here in about 1:30 seconds, an early start, as it's been a heck of a day here at UWM Sports Complex. The Chocolate Milk Futsal Cup, a lot of different tournament stuff going on here, courtesy of Futsal Factory and many other futsal teams from around the state of Michigan. So getting into those starting lineups here for you. Matthew Pletcher is going to start in goal instead of Robert Damron. I'm not sure what is the holdup with Damron as is. I think he was coaching earlier, so it might just be a late start for him as the game gets going. We'll keep you updated on all of that. Also starting is Philip Lecht, Guy Ramos, Andrew Schwartz, and Thomas Dono, number 15. What we talked about, 5 goals, 1 assist. Last year was an all NFPL honorable mention, 11 goals and 4 assists throughout the game for him. Starting on the Inter Detroit side is going to be Xavier Borjas, number 55 from Pontiac, who allowed 11 goals last week. The captain, Edwin Gomez-Ruiz, Nate Booz, Eduardo Cardenas, all 3 of those guys scored 2 goals each, and Ivan Barrera. Very close-knit Inter Detroit group for Futsal Factory. In my conversation with Coach Ducks prior to the game starting, he talked about how a lot of this team is both a mix of experienced players and youthful players as well. But their youth has a good amount of experience as well because they've been involved in the academy for so long. Example here is Philip Lecht, one of the shortest players on the team, also one of the youngest players on the team, but he's been involved with the academy since he was about 9 years old, if I remember right. So certainly Futsal Family Academy, you could say as well. Time expires. We're going to take the teams together here for a second, and we will get ready to start here in just a little bit. Edwin Jimenez entered Detroit 0-1 to start the year. They talked about the 11-6 loss last week. This is their first season in the NFPL. This is just their second season as a futsal club in their entirety. So last year, part of a different futsal league. This year, getting their start in the National Futsal Premier League. And what a heck of a start. You have such a young team. You have to go up against Futsal Factory, where that's literally their specialty. Inter Detroit, more of a soccer team that plays outdoors in the summers, now transitioning to the futsal game. Futsal Factory, this is their specialty. This is their bread and butter, something they've been doing for quite some time. So the captain for Futsal Factory, as we talked about, not able to start due to, it looks like, prior coaching priorities, I should say. And so that's Robert Damron that's not able to start. Apologies for the break there. And then Edwin Gomez-Ruiz, the captain for Inter Detroit, someone who's been so essential for their outdoor team. We're going to get some starting lineup pictures from the away side as well. And looks like we'll be all set to go here in just a little bit.
Their goalkeeper 55, not 99.
That's fine. Okay. Same guy, right?
Yeah.
We'll let anybody in this place.
like we said, just a couple seconds away from game time. We were given the indication that the game would start right at 6:55. Try to get this game underway as early as possible. We got some balls pumping up just to the left of me. Futsal Factory and those beautiful Puma kits, a new sponsor for them this year after being with Hummel for so long. We'll say the Puma looks great, and we've had players rocking the Puma all day long, including our camera guy directly behind me. Puma also sponsoring the Chocolate Milk Futsal Cup. And it's been great to see at UWM Sports Complex here in Pontiac, Michigan. We had a conversation prior to the game starting about how big and expansive this place is, this complex, that only half of it was used for futsal, and there were so many futsal teams that were able to get on the court, get some experience in from all different age groups, both men and women. It's been fantastic to see. Happened a lot of the evening yesterday, all day today, and it's going to be all day tomorrow as well. Our referees this afternoon, Brett Wilner, Josh Peterson, and Mike Corwin. If you've ever watched a futsal game in the state of Michigan, you've seen these three officials go at it. Some of the best officiating in the state, if you ask me. But now that I said that, we'll see what happens tonight, I guess. As you're seeing them directly in front of your screen. Apologies for the camera angle. We were not able to get a higher viewpoint like we typically do at high velocity. And now just looking for teams to get ready to go underway. Futsal Factory coached by Drew Ducker, nicknamed Ducks. So since COVID in the NFPL, their team is 16-16-1 that 2021 season. Not impressive to say the least, but since then, been stellar. But only a 500 record to show for it, so looking to get above that 500 record for them. And if you're wondering about that game last week, not able to catch it, Futsal Factory had a 5-4 lead at halftime, but were able to outscore Inter Detroit, 6-2 in the second half. We talked about a lot of those goals coming on the backside. Big emphasis for Edwin Jimenez and the coaches over on the Detroit side is just have more effort on the defensive side, not only on the ball, but off the ball as well. As it looks like we're getting ready to go here in just a couple seconds. Officiating crew standing directly in front of me. And again, if you're just joining us, the captain, the nominated player of the year, Robert Damron, is not starting this game. It is believed that he will come into the game at some point, but starting is going to be Matthew Pletcher, number 0. So a fine keeper in his own right. Don't want to downplay him at all. I think he's more than capable as we see the walkout happening directly in front of us. But certainly going to be a challenge for Matthew Pletcher, as this Inter Detroit team all week long has been pretty motivated to take on this Futsal Factory team and to, at the very least, get points. Everybody wants to win, but if you're able to kind of keep it even for most of the game, walk out of here with a tie at the very least, that'd be promising stuff here for you. So now it's 7 o'clock, so now we're getting ready to go. I wouldn't have started talking as early as I did if I knew we were starting at 7 p.m. Thomas Dono acting as the de facto captain. We're getting ready to decide who's going to start with the ball here. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz in the gray kits on the right side. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz, Ann Arbor Pioneer graduate just a couple years ago. We talked about how this Inter Detroit team is primarily a soccer-based team, and he was one of the key ballers for the Midwest Premier League as well as the UPSL, including Team of the Week honors multiple times throughout those two leagues. Futsal Factory also took part in that Midwest Premier League. I'm sure they competed in the same division, not sure what the result or the records were against each other. As we say that, Robert Damron running across the court and is now going to take a seat on the bench. Or not. He is maybe possibly getting warmed up, getting ready to come in here in just a couple seconds. Also getting warmed up is head coach, player, director, doer of everything, Ducks. Drew Ducker to the right, to the left of me as well. Common practice we've seen here in the game of futsal in general is the coach that also likes to play. So just waiting for the referee to place the ball down and get us ready to go. Futsal Factory moving from left to right. Inter Detroit right to left. Match week 5 in the NFPL begins. Right. Timing's been off this game, but we'll get it on. We'll get it on par. Speaking of timing, the clock you're seeing on your screen is not going to be operational. No one to operate it, but we will keep you updated with the time. Not only on the court, you also see it on the screen when the camera pans left, pans left. So, Inter Detroit starting off, quick turnover. Andrew Schwartz tried to get the shot off, not going to be able to do so. Scored a goal last time around, was deflected, so it will be a corner. Far side, Schwartz again, saved. Here's Guy Ramos. Thomas Dono, shot way too high, but Borjas getting his first save of the day. It was a bit of a weak shot. Headed off the wall. Great crowd here for you're seeing directly across from you. So moving, here's another turnover. Guy Ramos to Philip Lecht, tripping over his feet. Not going to be able to take advantage of that, unfortunately. So goes back to Inter Detroit. Quick shot at the far away. Not a shot exactly, just trying to clear the ball out. Here's Matthew Pletcher. A little bit of a hike and throw towards the ground. Guy Ramos, far side, dribbles it out of bounds. And they are going to say it went off Inter Detroit, so Thomas Dono's going to set it back in. Goes back in, Guy Ramos inside the circle. Here's Dono with the first goal! Flailing his arms up and down, signature celebration. Thomas Dono.
15
assisted by Guy Ramos. Less than a minute into the game. Nothing to start here. Less than a minute in. Excellent stuff there. 6th goal of the season for Thomas Dono. As far as I'm aware, first assist for Guy Ramos. Wasn't able to get all the assists from last week's game on my score sheet, so apologies if there's any mistakes there. Here's Ivan Barrera. Another turnover. We've seen a lot of these in the opening minute. Try to get that pass to Ramos. Not able to do so. Goes out for a corner. Schwartz will take it. Ball back into play. That's a foul. Extended the arm there. I believe it was Eduardo Cardenas. So that's going to be their first foul of the day. Remember, 5 fouls is a magical number. 6, excuse me, is when they start to do these penalty kicks. But for right now, Andrew Schwartz. And I'll make sure to keep you guys on the same page. If the ball goes out for a corner, we're not able to capture it. Here's Schwartz. Over to Guy, far corner. Back out to Schwartz in the wing. Now far side, Philip Lecht. Moving the ball around. Here's Guy, back to Schwartz. Top of the key. Now to Dono, far side, off the leg. Goes out. Philip Lecht will bring the ball back in. Here's a quick shot, deflected off of Barrera. Now possession goes back to Inter Detroit. Barrera operating as the fixo. Gomez Ruiz out. Quick playmaking, it's what you like to see there. Almost another turnover. Quite possibly could be. They managed to retain possession there. Here's Dono, here is a turnover. We're gonna look for Guy Ramos. Excellent save, Borjas once again. And a lot of possession time has been spent on this side of the court. Ball back into play, but possession goes back to Inter Detroit. Here's a shot straight into the chest of Pletcher. First save of the day for him. 2 saves for Borjas up to this point. His job's been easy up to this point. Only 2 minutes into the game so far. 18 on the clock. And possession will go back to Futsal Factory Academy. Is it still an academy if it's a team full of grown men? I guess if you're always learning, then it still is, but here's Pletcher now getting involved in the offense. Signature look from Futsal Factory. We don't see this a lot with many teams where their keeper will just go out. And here's Pletcher trying to get back. And it goes in the goal. Ugly mistake there. We're going to have some substitutions on the far side as we look to make sure who scored that goal. The goal was scored by Edwin Gomez-Ruiz. Sorry if I sounded disappointed. It's just, you hate to see a team try something that's so unorthodox and a little unpredictable, as that shot's going to go wide off the mark. Goal scored around 17:30. We'll update the clock here for you, as it is 1-1 to start here. Pletcher allows his first goal of the season as possession goes back now. Switching back, Inter Detroit looking to create a transition goal. They scored a few of those last week. Drew Ducker trying to not allow as many of those to get in. So ball back into play on the Futsal Factory side. Here's Graham Unsworth, who just checked in. Kick from Faisal Nasrallah is off the mark. Possession goes back to Detroit. High kick off the header. Looking to get it in, and they will! Oh my goodness! Nate Booz. Unbelievable. And just a few minutes into the game, we already have 3 goals in total. Nate Booz assisted there by number 19. It's not on my sheet, excuse me about that. Here's quick shot and another one. Inter Detroit taking over early. Oh, excuse me, 19's Brett Russell, the Birmingham native. So now 16:46. It's already a 2-goal lead for Inter Detroit after Futsal Factory scored the opening goal. Now Robert Damron is checked back into the game, so hope to see some more quick movement in goal for Futsal Factory. Far pass, not able to get it in. That pass was intended for Mariano Barragan. Damron played for U.S. men's national team at the World Cup as well as CONCACAF. Here's a far pass, all alone, saved by Borjas off of his arm. Transition going back the other way. Here's Booz, incredible save, Robert Damron, jumping out of the air. Goes out for a corner, but oh my, going airborne to deflect that ball. Booz off ahead, shot off the mark from Barragan. Quick substitutions coming in for the Factory side. Dono back on the court. Schwartz as well. So here's Schwartz off the head. Goes to Cal Suleiman, not going to reach him though. Barragan making sure it goes out, and it will. 16:02 now on the clock as possession goes back to Inter Detroit. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz. There's Booz. Now back off the chest. They're going to say it's off the arm instead, or they're going to call a foul instead. I believe that is a foul call, so it's the first of the day for the Factory. Free kick off the foot of Damron. Excellent save, good for him. We're gonna clear that ball out of bounds. Was Barragan. Dono will check it back in. Here's Yarly Martins. Shot was deflected, so nothing there. Here's a pass deflected, went out of bounds off the head of Josh Jasinkiewicz. A lot of different names here for this Futsal Factory team. They're able to get a lot of their players here. Looks like Inter Detroit only having 8 on their bench, so the man advantage going to the academy there. As that pass is off the mark, possession goes back to the Factory. Drew Ducker, coach player extraordinaire, has checked in now. Being a little too patient with that, almost got it stolen away. Now here's Damron back on the offensive side. Looking to get a pass in. Oh, excellent save, Borjas. Fourth save of the day for him. And what an excellent find from Robert Damron to connect it to his teammate. I missed who that was, so excuse me there. So gets it deflected out for a corner. Taking this, I do believe it is Jasinkiewicz. Here's Ducker, far side. Gets it to Jasinkiewicz. Now to Schwartz. Yarley Martins. Drew Ducker, no, not gonna find his teammate. Here's Schwartz, able to find Jasinkiewicz. A dive! Bodies are flying everywhere! And they're able to get the ball back in transition as Inter Detroit. Now another turnover, Schwartz. Jasinkiewicz tripped up with the ball just a little bit. Not able to recover. Here's Brett Russell. Now to Gomez Ruiz. Oh, excellent pass, Barragan. Can't get it past Ducker though. This is what futsal is all about. Fast pace, quick moving action. Here's Schwartz off the leg of Gomez Ruiz. It'll be out for a corner. 14:41 on the clock. Corner goes off the leg of an Inter Detroit player, so Ducks will put it in. Here's Martins getting held. Jasinkiewicz kicks the ball in the air, gets the ball back. Yarley Martins, far side wing. Trying to toy with his defender, not gonna be able to do so. Ducker trying to reset. Gets it to Schwartz, near side. Jasinkiewicz, and a huge trip, and it is gonna be a penalty kick. Happened inside the circle. I assume it's a penalty kick, correct? Or it happened past the mark. I'm not sure if the circle is what matters here in this situation. No, it is just going to be a free kick, excuse me on that. But it is a foul for the away side. Drew Ducker will be the one to take it, communicating with his team, using those hand signals they're probably more than familiar with. Little switch, here's Schwartz. Wants a shot, not gonna find it. Deflected off the leg, so it goes out for a corner. A little quicker reaction from Jasinkiewicz. Probably could have had a goal there. Here's a shot, way off the mark from Ducker. It's a side out for the away side. Robert Damron sending that ball into the stratosphere. Watch out. And trying to make sure that they don't allow any more goals in. Already finding themselves down 3-1 after 3 goals were scored in a row from Inter Detroit before Damron was able to check in. So here's Barriga. Shot off the mark. Not sure if it went off the hands. They're gonna say it did not, so it goes out for a goal kick. Ducker over to Yarley Martins. Here's Lecht. Wanted Faisal Nasrallah. The shot goes off the mark. So possession back in. Here's Barrera, excuse me. Over the head. Now on the head of Ducker. Out the side. So Nasrallah will get it back in. Guy Ramos not going to be able to check the ball in. Go out for a goal kick instead. So Ivan Barrera getting intercepted by Ducker. Wants the ball, not going to get it. Barragan able to keep that ball from going the other direction and keep possession for his team. Here's Barrera over the head of Robert Damron and over the goalpost as well. Just 2 saves on the day for him. Remember, Matthew Pletcher started this game and allowed 3 goals early for the home side. Here's Ducker. Wanted a teammate, no one was there, but it went off the foot of Mariano Barragan, so goes out for a side. Back to Lecht, here's Ducker. Wants Lecht. Not gonna find him, he's gonna get intercepted. His shot from Barrera is gonna be off the mark. Excuse me, that's Bosco Garcia. No, sorry, that's Eduardo Cardenas. A lot of numbers changed here, so my score sheet looks a little different than it typically does. Here's Guy Ramos to left. Deflected by Gomez Ruiz. Here's Ducker, gonna have the shot if he wants it. Deflected. Goes out and a side out for Futsal Factory. Ducker, and here's Lecht. Wants Ramos, no, he wants Nasrallah, and he's gonna kick it over the head of the goalpost. And over the head of Xavier Borjas as well. 4 saves on the day for him, hasn't had to save the ball in a while. I say a while, there's only been 7 minutes elapsed from this game, 13 minutes on the clock. A little bit of tricky footwork, but the ball goes out of bounds for Eduardo Cardenas, the pivot from San Diego, California. Scored 2 goals last week. Nasrallah kicks it over the head. Possession goes back to Barrera and Detroit. Nate Booz off the chest of Philip Lecht. He's gonna have the shot. Blocked, sorry, saved by Xavier Borjas. Not able to capitalize there on almost a wide open net. Nasrallah to Booz. Intercepted, here's Ducker. Wants Nasrallah. Nasrallah just a little too far ahead of him. 12:31 on the clock here. We'll keep you updated on clock stoppages and all that stuff going on in between each goal as well, at least visually. So here's Booz, gonna have a shot, saved, Damron, once again. Another shot off the mark, and Damron's fired up, trying to keep his team fired up as well. Down 3-1, a little less than 8 minutes into the game. Ball hucked in, here's Guy Ramos getting pushed. Nasrallah wants a shot. Too much force, it goes wide to the left. You see Edwin Jimenez, head coach and director, to the right of you, or to the right of the screen, excuse me. Ball goes over the head of everybody. Possession goes back to Damron and Futsal Factory. Thomas Dono, the 5-goal scorer, has already scored a goal already. Shot too low, blocked. Or saved by Borjas, excuse me. 6th save of the day. Ball goes out of bounds back to Detroit. Ball back into play. Here's Ramos, wants Dono. Saved off the hand, the left hand. Xavier Borjas, way to shoot it up. If you're just joining us, it's been an exciting game so far. Futsal Factory scored in the opening minute. And then in the next 3 minutes, Inter Detroit was able to score 3 almost in succession, back to back to back. None of those were scored on Robert Damron. Matthew Pletcher started the game. Dono's gonna dribble that ball out of bounds, sending possession back to Detroit. You may hear a lot of buzzing and a lot of other stuff going on. There's multiple futsal games as well as volleyball games taking place in this facility. Here's Cal Suman on defense. Edwin Gomez Ruiz. Now, Barrera, shot far right. Ball goes out to the side. Graham Unsworth will give his keeper the ball. Sending that ball to Cal Suleiman, who's pushed over. No foul called, though. Here's Dono on a turnover chance. Wants a goal, too far to the right. Substitution in now. Brett Russell coming in now, who's assisted and scored a goal already for Inter Detroit. Here's Edwin Gomez Ruiz. Back to Barrera. Gomez Ruiz now. Gonna see some tight, not too tight, but a little bit of press defense from Futsal Factory. Nate Booz finding the ball. Gonna get triple teamed, able to scoot around everybody and almost deflected into the goal, but it goes far right off the arm of number 23, Unez Ramajiku. Shot only a little only a little high for the goal there. Underhand throw. Unez. It is going to go out, so possession goes back to the Factory. Dono will take it in. Wanted Unsworth, not going to find him. Here's Brett Russell, the other side. Going to jostle with Cal Suleiman, who's now able to find the ball back. Sends it wide. Here's Dono. Back to Suleiman. Was looking for Unais on the far side for a skip pass and not going to be able to find him. So possession goes back to Gomez Ruiz now. Trying to play a little keep away from Dono. Dono wanted it. Instead it'll be Damron receiving it on the other side after that pass just a little too far. 10-17 left to go here in the first half. Off of the chest of Unais Ramajiku. So possession goes back. Here's Booz. Barrera, now Baragan. Back to Booz. Past the half-court line. Ball goes out of bounds off of Factory. Baragan. Looking for somebody to pass back and forth with. Has Russell open. Nope, wants a skip pass. Nate Booz gonna get tripped up. That's the second foul of the day for Futsal Factory. Both teams playing pretty even up until this point in terms of fouls and not getting fouls called on them. But now that I said that, expect a ton of fouls to take place in the next 10 minutes. 9:51 on the clock. You see it on the top of your screen, top left, excuse me. Free kick's gonna come from Ivan Barrera. The Fixo, Detroit native. Shot from Booz. Too far left. Damron gonna send the ball as far as humanly possible as he typically does. Here's Schwartz. Blocked and saved. And now Booz gonna get possession. Nate Booz scored the opening goal. Excuse me, scored the second goal for Inter Detroit. I'm not sure what the call was there, some sort of foul. So 9:37 on the clock. Now that a million minutes have passed, we can fix the time here for you. 9:37, excuse me. Possession goes back. Here's Gomez Ruiz. Booz over to Baragan. Possession flips back. Here's Schwartz. Now back to Ducker, who's checked in. Head coach, player, director of Futsal Factory. Ducker trying to play jostle with Brett Russell. Ball's dribbled out of bounds. Looking to take advantage of it, and it is going to go. Not sure what the call was there. It wasn't a foul, but some sort of maybe played it in too quickly for the ref's liking. So here we go. Andrew Schwartz, far side, wants a shot. No, he wants Yarley Martins, who sends it to Borjas, who's able to deflect it out. Here's a corner. Now Schwartz, deflected. Brett Russell, 1-on-2. He's going to need some help. Excellent save, Robert Damron. Fourth save of the day for him. Nate Booz going to take this corner, deflected. Here's an open goal, oh, off the woodwork. Yarley Martins had a wide open net. Xavier Borjas caught lacking a little bit. Not sure if he was able to get a foot on there or extend his body to be able to deflect that just a little bit, but nonetheless goes off the right crossbar. So here's a tough throw there. Unais finds a Yarley. Nicaraguan from Madonna University, where he plays soccer over there. Here's Ducker, far side, off the back of Booz. Yarley's gonna fall down, look for a foul, he's not gonna get it. Mariano Baragan. Some of these names are tripping me up, I apologize. Regardless, position goes back to the Factory. Here's Ducker. Far side, that's Schwartz. Defense by Gomez Ruiz. Didn't have to play much though. It was Bosco Garcia. No, it was Eduardo Cardenas that was able to deflect that. Here's Mariano Baragan, excuse me. Wanted Gomez Ruiz, not able to get his feet out from underneath him. So 7:45 on the clock. Score still 3-1. after an extravaganza of points in the opening 4 minutes. We haven't seen any since then. Far pass for Guy Ramos. Nobody there. A little bit of miscommunication on that end. So it's a side out for Brett Russell. Ooh, Brett Russell. Apologies for that, whatever that was. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz trying to play keep away from Guy Ramos. A short pass. Here's Philip Lecht. And pushed out of bounds is Xavier Borjas. We'll count that as a save because it did come off the foot of Philip Lecht, who's going to get the ball now. Damron also came up for the ball. Ducker finds Guy. Ball deflected back to Ducks. Nasrallah wants a shot, blocked. Wants another shot, and it's blocked. Sends into the audience right there. Nasrallah goes back to Ducker, who's shouting orders. Head coach, player. Off the foot of Baragan. Ball kicked up into the air by Brett Russell. And it looks like there is going to be a timeout taken. Not yet, though. It's going to be Philip Lecht. It looked like it was some sort of handball or foul. Not sure what that was there. So here's Lecht back to Ducks. And sent out. Ducks gets tripped up. Similar to a play that happened last week. Nasrallah is going to look for the ball. We're going to take a timeout here instead. 7:01 on the clock here. Like we talked about, opening 4 minutes, had 4 goals scored. Since then, a whole lot of nothing. But it's been an excellent competitive match both ways. Inter Detroit looking to get their revenge for the loss last week. We'll be back on the other side of this.
And mine is Lloyd. Lloyd. Trying to think if there's any other ways. Yeah, Jason Kevich and Lloyd. Yeah, something's wrong.
Ball checks back into play. Apologies for some audio issues. We had our crowd mic not working there for a period of time, but here's Philip Lecht. I mispronounced his name for the first 13 minutes. Apologies to him and his family. His dad's sitting directly to the right of me, operating our clock. At least in the building, not on the stream. So here's Ducks. Over to Nasrallah. It's going to go off the foot of Baragan. So possession will go back to Futsal Factory in enemy territory. They're going to need every bit of help they can get in order to get back in this game. Here's Ducker, back to Nasrallah. Fakes a shot, back to Ducker. Here's Damron. Once the shot himself, it's going to go off the chest of Xavier Borjas. That's another save for him. 9 saves on the day. Tough defense from Guy Ramos. Again, don't be confused by a lot of the whistles taking place. There's a lot of action going on here at UWM Sports Complex here in Pontiac, Michigan. Not the official home site for Futsal Factory for the most part. Here's Ducker. So we'll explain that just a little bit. Borjas able to get that back into his arms. We'll count that as his 10th save of the day. Off the jumping hand of Robert Damron, 5th save for him. Guy Ramos. It's back. Here's offensive possession here for Inter Detroit. Gonna find Ducker in the middle. Now transition goal. Once Loicht will have him. Wanted another pass there, but there were 3 Inter Detroit players in the way. And it goes directly off the hand of an Inter Detroit player, so it is going to be a penalty kick if I have it right. Looks like some refs are going to be conferring there on the far right side. Head coach and director Edwin Jimenez is on the farther right side of your screen in all black. Trying to figure out what the call is here. So that is not going to be a penalty. I've miscalled that several times now at this point. So we're gonna have 4 fouls on the away side, 3 on the home. I've missed a few of those now, so apologies for that. Here's Ducker trying to get possession back, gonna get tripped up and screwed up all types of different ways. And that is the 5th foul for Inter Detroit. And a yellow. And it is going to be 5 fouls, so the next one will result in a penalty kick. Ramajiku near side, getting ready to take this free kick in the meanwhile. So number 13 is Eduardo Cardenas. First yellow of the season for him. I do not believe there were any yellow cards in last week's game. Here's Guy Ramos, far side shot, knocked off the right shoulder of Borjas. Graham Unsworth will take the corner. 5:39 left to go here in the first half. Here's Thomas Dono, fresh off his 5-goal performance last week. Goes off his foot. Ball back in, Inter Detroit. Near side, here's Cardenas. For Robert Damron now. Cal Suleiman, near side. And Suleiman wanted that ball back, but not able to keep up with it, so it goes out of bounds. Here's Brett Russell. Puts it back in, Gomez Ruiz. Barrera. Tight defense from Ramajiku. Unsworth now playing defense. Cardenas gonna get stolen. Cal Suleiman, Ramajiku one-on-one, goes in through the legs. Nutmeg. Trying to climb back into this game, they will do so. And with 5 minutes left to go in a half, score now 3-2 in favor of Inter Detroit. Ball sent into the next planet. They managed to get that one back. And those transition goals, they try to, or at least Inter Detroit scored a lot of those last week. Now we're seeing Futsal Factory being able to score in transition. Off the foot of a Factory player, it will be a corner kick. Large gathering of fans. A lot of these fans are youth players that played for either one of these teams earlier today. Corners off the head of Unsworth. Here's Dono. Everybody's fighting for the ball. Foul will be called there. 4th on the Factory. I went off to the side, not sure if it was a foul or not. Thomas Dono. One-on-one with Brett Russell. Russell still in front of him. Here's Dono. And the shot goes off the foot of Russell, so it is going to be a corner. Unsworth going to be ready to take it. Going to find Cal Suleiman, saved by Borjas. Here's Barrera. Now to Russell. Has scored a goal already. Damron sends it out. What a quick move in here. Hey, you know what? Someone kicks that ball hard enough, it might just go through the wall. So we hope that doesn't happen. That's going to be a pretty large bill we'd have to pay on behalf of the NFPL. Thomas Dono sends it up. That's Yerli Martins just checked in. Ramajiku too much tight, close-knit defense. That's a save by Damron off the foot of Nate Booz. Dono will reset. Bet Russell going to be able to retain possession. Here's Unsworth. Ball going back and forth just a little bit. He's going to be tripped up as Yarley Martins, and that is 6 fouls. The tall, heavy body of Yarley Martins able to get a 6th foul call, so now it's going to be a free shot and a chance to equalize the game for the Factory. Thomas Dono is going to be the one to take it. He'll receive a pep talk from Damron first. One-on-one here, 3:53 left to go in the first half. 6 goals already on the season, has a chance for his 7th. They're making sure that he declares that Dono is the one taking the shot. They're not trying to do any trickery. I'm not sure if you can do that in futsal. They haven't seen it personally. Here's Dono. Penalty shot, it's in! 2 goals for him. 7 on the season. Player of the week last week, he wants it again. And it evens up the score 3 apiece with 3:53 left to go. Ball back into play. We've seen an excellent first half played here. A lot of early scoring and a lot of tough defense. You've had a little bit of everything. That's what you want in a game of futsal. Here's Barrera. Off the thigh of Russell. Gomez Ruiz. Going to get potentially taken away from Schwartz, not able to. Barrera sends it back. Here's Brett Russell. Ball goes out of bounds. Ramajiku sends it in. Excuse me, that's Jason Kevich. Was also mispronouncing that name for the majority of the first half. So apologies to him and his family and friends as well. Yarley Martin's going to get the ball and tripped up. Not going to get the call, though. We've seen a lot of tussling and going back and forth. Now that's going to be a foul called on Futsal Factory, I believe. Robert Damron, captain, going to come all the way over, make sure that his teammate Yarley Martins is okay. I might have said Nicaraguan earlier. He's actually Brazilian. Plays at Madonna University, along with Renan Paiva, who we've yet to see in this game. Or Paiva, excuse me. So we did check. It is 4 fouls for Futsal Factory, not 5. Here's Andrew Schwartz. Spin move! Saved! Borjas! He has another chance at it, and he gets it in! Celebrates with his keeper. Stylish! Andrew Schwartz. 2:44 left to go, and they take the lead. Second goal in the season for him. Here's Yarley Martins trying to keep it. That will go into the hands of Damron. Another save for him. Ramajiku, nope, that's Jason Kevich that wants it. Yarley Martins back on his feet, good to see. Has Schwartz, not going to take it though. He wants to keep the ball himself. Wants it past Russell. He's going to try to draw another foul. He won't. Here's Gomez Ruiz. Ball still in play. Nate Booz into the side of the net, but not the side that you want. 2:04 left to go here in the first half. Now the trainer's going to take a look. Make sure that Yarley Martins is A-okay. If you're just joining us for this match, we've had pretty much a barn burner from start to finish. Started out the opening 4 minutes, we had 4 goals scored. First by Futsal Factory, then 3 in a row from Inter Detroit. That was from while the starting goalkeeper Matthew Pletcher was still in. He gets subbed out. Captain Robert Dameron comes back in. They have not allowed a goal since. They've scored now 3 in a row themselves. First from Ramajiku, then from Thomas Dono, who's able to score on a penalty kick. And now Andrew Schwartz getting his 2nd goal of the season just a couple seconds ago. Roughly a minute now at this point. 2:02 left on the clock. So that's how the flow of the first half is gone. We'll talk about all this stuff at the halftime report. If it's possible, we might try to get a coach or a player here at the halftime report as well. Not guaranteed, though. Here's Nate Booz. Sends it in. Here's Barrera off the leg of Ramos. Nasrallah trying to clear it out. Ramos gets it back. Here we go. 3-on-3. Shot too wide from Faisal Nasrallah. Off the head of Ducker. Here's Ramos. 1-on-1. Does he want it? Gee! Not able to put it in. The ball flew everywhere besides the back of the net. And Futsal Factory had a chance to go up another goal. Damron, excellent awareness to send that ball out. There's a million things that could be said about him. Played for the U.S. men's national teams. That shot goes far wide. Was nominated for Futsal Player of the Year last year. Far pass, liked, excuse me. Pass goes out of bounds. They're gonna try to pinch him in their own zone here. Ball goes too far, so possession goes back to the Factory. Here's Ducker, over to Ramos. Pass just a little too much zip on it. Or at least the misdirection from Ducker. Ball back into play off the foot of Nasrallah. 1:10 left to go in the first half. Barrera, now here's Ramos. Transition, wants Nasrallah, won't get him. That was Leicht that sent it out of bounds. But it did go off an Inter Detroit foot, so Futsal Factory gets it back. Ducker's upset. Now the ball's going to go back to Nate Booz, as well as Inter Detroit. Now that ball's sent out of bounds. A lot of back and forth play here from both sides. Philip Leicht rotating. Here's Guy Ramos, once Leicht. Gonna have him 1-on-1. A little bit of a trip. Both players looked like knocked up a little bit. And oh, excellent save, Robert Damron, extending the right arm to send that out. Tough shot there. I believe that was Nate Booz on that shot. I believe that is Ivan Barrera on the ground. It is. Was looking for some sort of foul call. Looked like he was cut on the top of his head. So he's going to take a moment, step out, get that fixed. And he is going to receive a yellow, just saying a little too much to the referee. So before play resumes, we're going to check that. That's the second yellow of the day for Inter Detroit. Speaking of Inter Detroit, they have a corner on the other side. Here we go. It's an easy goal. Not paying attention was Futsal Factory, and now number 13, Eduardo Cardenas. And it was assisted by Edwin Gomez Ruiz. 39 seconds left to go. And the score is now evened up 4 apiece. Ball back into play. Here's Dono. They want to cancel the equalizer. Now it's going to be a transition. Here's Gomez Ruiz. Speedy. Gonzalez not able to capitalize. Dono with the interception. Cal Suleiman wanted to light. Goes off the mark, out of bounds. And what a tragic corner kick on the other side. The defense just not paying attention, and it ends up resulting in an easy goal for Inter Detroit. Tying it up at 4 apiece. 18 seconds to go here. Could hold for it. Futsal not typically that kind of style. A lot of teams are always push the pace. Here's a turnover. Thomas Dono wants Cal, not going to get him. Cal Suleiman, that is. And Dono slides that ball out of bounds. 1.7 seconds to go. Looks like they're just going to put it in and call it the end of the half. A shot wide off the mark from Nate Booz. Last week was a close game, 5-4 at the half. This week, even closer, 4-4. It's been as even as you can get on both sides. I'll take a step away, get a couple drinks of water. I've been talking a lot. And we'll be back with the halftime report here in a little bit.
Give me like 2 of them. Edwin! Hey, get over here. There's more.
Halftime report here for you. UWM Sports Complex here, Pontiac, Michigan. Chocolate Milk Futsal Cup has been taking place yesterday, today, and will take place most of tomorrow as well. So a lot of youth here in the crowd, a lot of players from both academies on both sides participating in the festivities. Glad to see it. Let's take a look. This has been as even of a match as you could have got, especially in the numbers side. You look at the saves. Matthew Pletcher was one who started the game for Futsal Factory, had 2 saves but allowed 3 goals in the opening 4 minutes of the game after scoring the opening. Well, he didn't score the opening goal. It was Thomas Dono who was able to score off the assist from Guy Ramos just a minute into the game. But Inter Detroit was able to take advantage of an open goal from Edwin Gomez Ruiz, Nate Booz, and Brett Russell scoring his first goal of the season. Gomez Ruiz able to score his first goal of the year, first goal of the day, third of the season, excuse me, in their first season in the NFPL here. A lot of scoring, a lot of not scoring for a while, a lot of tight defense on both sides. Fouls also pretty similar, 6-5 in favor of, well, Inter Detroit has more fouls, but in favor of Futsal Factory, if you were to say so. And Thomas Dono ended up scoring the second goal for him and the third goal for Futsal Factory on a penalty kick after Ramajiku was able to score to get the deficit down to 1 just a few minutes beforehand. And then it ended up being the right foot, excuse me, of Andrew Schwartz, who was able to knock it in and even the game up, or at least take the lead for a second before Eduardo Cardenas, with 39 seconds on the clock, would score off an assist from Edwin Gomez Ruiz, getting his first assist of the season. So on the save side, ever since Robert Dameron came back in, he's had 8 saves himself. Xavier Borjas has 12 of his own, so a lot more action on the Inter Detroit side. They're going to try to prevent that going forward. 4:40 left on the clock here before we start the second half. This has been a halftime report. My name is Garrett Pogg. We'll be back in a couple minutes with the second half. Ball again ready to be back in play. 20 minutes left to go. 4-4 is your score. And I almost said in favor of one of the teams, but not in favor. It's a tied up game. A lot of interesting scoring the way that this has kind of played out, where the opening 4 minutes we saw Inter Detroit going up 3-1. And since then, Futsal Factory's been able to come back with an equalizer from Inter Detroit just before halftime. So 20 minutes left to go. Inter Detroit trying to get some sort of points here on the road. Well, quote unquote on the road. They've had a lot of fans here in the stands as they were part of the Chocolate Milk Futsal Cup. Some of their youth was. Shot going way off the mark. Philip Loicht deflecting that out wide. Xavier Borja is going to run into the next court to go grab that ball. You're going to hear a lot of whistles and a lot of buzzers going off. That is because there are other games taking place right now. So we'll try to ignore those and let you know when fouls are being called and ball goes out of bounds, stuff like that. Here's Cardenas jostling. Here's Guy Ramos now. Near side. Andrew Schwartz wants another goal. He's not going to get it. And it goes for a corner. I think it went off the chest of either Edwin Gomez-Ruiz or Ivan Barrera. Gomez-Ruiz, a goal and an assist here today. Had the 2 goals last week. Loicht puts it in. Schwartz able to almost get it in off the foot of Ramos. Now Nate Booz trying to capitalize on the other side. Damron sending it out wide. The awareness and the quickness, something we don't see from a lot of keepers here in the NFPL. Or I should say in a lot of keepers in futsal, period. That's what makes him one of the best. That's why he started for the men's national team last year, for the past couple years, I should say. Was a contender for player of the year, top 3 actually. Ended up losing out to a player whose name escapes me now from New Jersey. So Damron now going to be part of the offense. Near side, you see him kick it. That's Guy Ramos. Out to Loicht. Looking to reset. Going to find some space inside. Pass it to Ramos instead. Now Schwartz. Back to Dono. Dono wants a shot. It goes off the head of Barrera. That's a tough hit to take to the dome. He's standing upright. I hope you would say I hope he's okay, but that kind of just comes with the territory of playing futsal. And Dono wanted either an assist or a backside goal. Not going to get it. So just a little over a minute into the second half here, that goes off the head of Dono, which puts it out for a corner for Inter Detroit. To be taken by, well, I think they got to recover the ball first. Probably went into one of the other courts. We do have a ball here at the scorer's table, so nonetheless, here's Nate Booz, ready to put it in. Barragan. Now, excuse me, that was Cardenas that went off the leg, and I think Guy Ramos sends it out back of the goal post. So possession goes back to Inter Detroit. 18:30 left to go here in the game. Booz, back to Barrera. Now back to Edwin Gomez-Ruiz, the far side. Barrera, Booz on the near side. Barrera, just a little bit of that pass back and forth kind of thing. Shout out to Jim Caldwell. Andrew Schwartz kicks it out of bounds. Just a quick reminder, clock not operating on the stream here today. No one to operate it, so I will keep you updated on the time. Verbally, the shot just a little too high up for Barrera's liking. And whenever the camera pans left, you'll be able to see it on the top of your screen. So just to kind of keep that in mind as the game goes along. Damron sends it back in. Here's Dono, far side. Wants a quick goal. Goes off the foot of Gomez-Ruiz. Trying to get past Dono. He's able to do so. Use some hands to do it. No call. Edwin sends it off the foot of Graham Unsworth, who's checked back in. So side out in the danger zone for Inter Detroit. Barrera will take it. Goes directly into the hands of Robert Damron. Count that as his first save of the second half. Eight saves in the first half. Did not play the opening 3 or 4 minutes. That was Matthew Pletcher, who allowed 3 goals while recording 2 saves. Here's Unsworth, back to Duckers, now checked in. Ramos against Barrera. Not sure what he wanted there. It looked like he either wanted a shot or some sort of deflection into the goal. But instead it just goes out to the left of the goalpost. Here's Booz. Double team, damn near. It is going to be stolen. Here's Yarley Martins. Brace on his right foot, off the woodwork. Not sure what they were chanting over on the far side. Maybe they chant it again, we'll be able to hear it better. Here's Unsworth deflecting that, able to recover the possession. And now here's Unsworth, tripped over his feet. Yarley Martin scored 2 last week. Shot too high for Nasrallah. A lot of great passing, a lot of great footwork from this Futsal Academy team. Here we go. Deflected off of Barrera. And Barrera's letting him hear it too. He was talking that smack. And here we go, back into play. Gomez Ruiz taking it himself. He wants a goal. Too far to the left. Slid while taking it. I think some of the teammates wanted some sort of foul call or making noise for some reason. Shot just a little too far wide. Ramajiku is going to come back in, who's scored a goal already, his first of the season, to ignite the comeback in the first half for Futsal Factory. That pass too far wide, so it goes back. Here's Booz, near side. Edwin Gomez Ruiz. Now back to Barrera, wants a shot himself. Sent it about as high as Shaquille O'Neal, so a little too tall for the goalpost. Here's Ducker, and ball just a little too much zip on it. Duck's gonna be a little frustrated with that, but not much you can do there. Booz to Barrera. Back to Gomez Ruiz. Eduardo Cardenas. And the ball goes out of bounds off his foot. Looks like both of these teams are just kind of waiting for the other to make the first mistake. And no, that's going to be a heck of a foul. And a card. He already has 1 yellow. That's another one. And so he's going to be sent off. So with 16:39 to go, we are going to have, I'm not sure, forgive me, I don't know the official term in futsal, but it is going to be the effect of a power play here. So it's going to be 5-on-4 here for a period of time. 5 includes the goal, so really it'd be 4-on-3 if you're counting just players that are moving back and forth on the court. They might ask Dameron to get involved in the offense here as well if they really wanted to. So until 14:39, we're going to have a man advantage for it looks like Ducks and Dameron trying to talk about it here for a little bit. So everybody's just trying to make sure they're clear on the rules before they start play back in here. It's like we've played a game of futsal before. Saw this in the championship game last year. And everybody's just trying to get on the same page. I'm not sure how much time they're going to allow them to have just to strategize. Typically, you want to be prepared for these kind of moments. And now the refs are trying to confer across the court. And Eduardo Cardenas, who scored 2 goals last week, scored the goal to equalize the scoring before the first half ended, is sent off the court. And he's ejected from the game, so he's gonna step off completely and go sit on the visitor's side. Shot, deflected, not able to get a clean look at it. Here's Unsworth, sends it back to Ducker. So again, until the magical number 14:39 before the, here it is, Thomas Dono. Forget the 2 minutes. We only need 20 seconds. Thomas Dono scoring his 3rd of the game, hat trick. Assisted by number 9, Yarley Martin, scoring his first assist of the day, or the season too. Here the Futsal Factory chants from the home crowd here to go up 5-4. And you think about what that means, having Cardenas, one of the premier goal scorers for this team, out on their bench. They only had 3 bench players to work with. So now they're down to 7 players as an entire roster that they're able to play from. While Futsal Factory has doubled that with 14 saved there from Borjas. First of the day for him. Ball back into play. Don't know what's to go through his feet. It is going to go out of bounds, though. 15:54 left to go here in the game. That was an important score for Futsal Factory and could swing the momentum a ton here, especially with the way that second yellow card played out. Now only 7 players for Inter Detroit's roster as compared to 14 for Futsal Factory. Off the mark. I have also did not reset the foul, so apologies there. Here we go. Here's Nate Booz. We'll fix that in a second. Barrera. Back. Brett Russell sent it a little too far wide. Booz cannot be there to receive. So there was a foul, though, on Inter Detroit. Led to the second yellow. That trip of Drew Ducker. Ramajiku saved by Borjas. Brett Russell wants to go out of bounds, but not going to be able to do so. Just sends it back to the other side. Goes off the foot of Damron, so it's going to be a corner going the other way. Second save of the day, Xavier Borjas. Robert Damron, or sorry, second save of the half, I should say. 14th of the day. Shot just a little too high. We've seen a lot of those from Inter Detroit, just shots that are just going as high as Planet Pluto. Not something you typically want to see. Futsal when the goal is as small as it is, and with a court that's a little narrower than these guys typically play on. Typically when they're at high velocity, they're able to play regulation size. This is a little smaller as it's been used for youth futsal games for the majority of the day. Ball sent out by Barrera. 5-4 your score here. It's been a barn burner up to this point. 5-4 was the score at the last halftime mark before a 6-2 Futsal Factory run solidified the game for them. Barrera gonna walk it up. Here's Gomez Ruiz. Trying to communicate with Barrera. Gonna go through the legs of a Factory player, so it does go. Oh, no, they're not gonna say it did. I thought it certainly touched Andrew Schwartz's legs at the very least. But Ramajiku will put it back in to Damron. Cal Suleiman getting held almost every single time down the court, and he's giving the business to the ref. The ref doesn't want to hear it. Officiating crew, Brett Wilner, Josh Peterson. Oh, here's a shot, blocked. We'll give them a shout out here in a second. We've seen some pretty solid officiating, I would say, all day up to this point. Here's Andrew Schwartz back in the zone. Quick substitution coming in. Here's Guy Ramos in the middle of play. Ramajiku sends it back. Thomas Dono, the Fixo spot. The Fixo spot, excuse me. I'm not sure why I put a little E on there. Here's Schwartz. Dono finds Ramajiku. Open backside. Not going to be able to capitalize. That was one of the keys to the game here for Inter Detroit that we talked about with their head coach, Edwin Jimenez, on the phone, is they did not want to allow any backside goals like they did last time around. Ramajiku again, off the chest of Barrera. That guy's taking a lot of hits, tough as nails. Another shot just a little too high going into the next court. Onto the field of play, which your camera's not able to capture. We do have a ball sitting directly in front of our timekeeper. Not sure why we need to go over to. So it is going to be, oh, sorry, I keep saying Ramajiku, excuse me. That's Jason Kevich going after that ball. This is when you play the Jeopardy theme music. is going to be a corner. Jason Kevich to put it in. Has Schwartz near side. Will find Ducker instead. Not able to get that touch he wants. Schwartz back to Ducker. Gets that skip pass, not quite. Here's Jason Kevich. Wanted Ducker. Miscommunication there, so it goes out of bounds. Here's Brett Russell. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz wants Russell again, gonna go softly into the hands of Robert Damron. Ducker trying to get it past Russell. Able to do so, but Barrera gets possession. Now Zarala's checked back in, gets the ball back. Here we go. And Barrera, we talked about him earlier, tough as nails. He's been bumping into everybody, trying to have his way on the court. Has been called for a lot of fouls, if any, up to this point. Jason Kevich. Gonna get tripped up, no call. Gomez-Ruiz. Barrera, now far side, Brett Russell. Tries to split the double team, won't be able to do so. Guy Ramos now sends it back to Ducker. They will reset. So Ramos now in the fixo spot. Wanted Ducker, able to get the ball. Jason Kevich. Back to Guy, wanted him on the backside, too high. 12:44 to go here in the game. 1-goal lead for Futsal Factory. If you talk to Ducks, he would probably say a one-goal victory just isn't enough for him, especially if after they won by 5 last week. That shot just a little too high. Probably want a better look there if you're Inter Detroit. Ball sent out wide to Yarley Martins, who's checked back in. Barrera keeps it in, trying to beat Nasrallah, not gonna be able to do so. Goes out of bounds to Nasrallah and Futsal Factory. It's gonna be Ducker instead, excuse me. Goes off the chest, that's Mariano Barragan, who's checked back in. Here's Philip Loicht, and able to capitalize. Ducker, player in front of him. He's gonna scout the court before he makes a decision. Gets it back, Nasrallah. Ducker, back again. Wants Nasrallah once again, and it goes, oh! Very close, saved by Borjas. Looked to me like a goal for a second, 15th save of the day, Xavier Borjas. We're gonna make sure that the goal is in line with the field of play before we take this corner. I'm saying we, I'm talking about the group as a whole as futsal. I'm not representing Futsal Factory or Inter Detroit in this case. Here we go, ball in, that's Yarley Martins. Ducker, near side. Goes back to Martins, double team, tries to split it, nope, goes back to Ducker. Ball sent back and forth. Here's Loicht, far side. Wants somebody. Nasrallah had 2 guys on him, not able to recover. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz gonna get damn near pushed out of bounds, but he's able to recover. And Speedy's gonna take it past the half-court line. Gomez-Ruiz finds Barrera back. Kicks it straight to Loicht. Here's Nasrallah. 2-on-2. Not gonna get the look they want. Here's the Yarley Martins. And back to Ducker now at this point. Ball kind of swinging around back and forth. Here's Ducker back again. Yarley Martins not able to save that. So possession goes back. That's Mariano Barragan putting it back in. And here's Nate Booz able to get it. Oh, not quite. A rare misstep from Robert Damron going to save it before the ball was loose. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz sends that ball too far. But for a split second there, Nate Booz had a open goal, not able to capitalize. Score remains 5-4, 11-14 left to go in the game. Dono sends it to Martins, gonna get pushed and kicked around. Here's Dono wanting it. And Borjas able to get it back into his clutches. Booz back on the court. Gomez-Ruiz. Ball sent a little too far, saved by Damron. And it's going to be a foul called and a yellow card on Damron. So that's his first of the game. It's going to lead to a free kick that's very, very close to that inner circle. Nate Booz is going to be the one to take it. Has Barrera open on the top of the key. See what he does here. Sends it off the woodwork and it goes out of bounds. Not quite, it must have went off the hand of Damron, so it goes out for a corner, but not able to capitalize on that either. Here's Dono on the fast break transition. Wants Loic, he's gonna have him. Is he saved? No, he's not. It is gonna be a foul and a yellow on Borjas now. That's a lot of yellow cards given for this Inter-Detroit team. If you remember, it was a second yellow that sent Eduardo Cardenas off the court and led to a 5-on-4 power play, or 4-on-3, excuse me, on the other side. So 10:46 left to go. Here's a free kick for the Factory. 10:46 left to go in the game. Chance to extend their lead. Here's Cal Suleiman. Sends it into the net. Untouched. Cal Suleiman. First goal of the season for him. .10:44 on the clock, and they will extend their lead by another goal. Back into play and back into possession of Futsal Factory. Here's Thomas Dono. Has Loic. Backside. Dono wants it, and he does get it! 4 goals for him! Unbelievable! And now a timeout taken by Inter-Detroit. Needing to regroup. 5 goals last week, 4 today. Only had 11 all of last season. He is a star player for Futsal Factory. We'll take a quick break, but while I get my voice back. Two goals scored in succession. Cal Suleiman and now Thomas Dono scoring within 20 seconds of each other, 21 seconds to be exact. Suleiman off a free kick, took it himself, and Dono off the deflection from Borjas. Extended this lead and made it a more difficult comeback for Inter-Detroit to make. Only 7 players on their roster. Started with 8. A second yellow card sent Eduardo Cardenas off in the beginning of the second half. A little over 10 minutes left to go here in this game. It's looking like Factory might come out with 6 points at the end of this match week and going into their first bye of the season, if you want to call it that. They will not be on the road or not be on the court next week, because that's almost a goal. Can he capitalize? No, Guy Ramos is not able to do so. Barrera and Borjas in the area to prevent that from going in. Here's Dono. Nate Booz. Now back to Barrera. wants something in transition. Oh, and had Booz on the other side. Just a little too much zip on that ball. Sends it out of bounds. And that signature underhand throw off the chest of Barrera. Now here's Brett Russell, double teamed. Here's Unsworth back in the game. Gomez Ruiz over to Barrera. Sends it back. Trying to scout this defense, see where they can take advantage if they can. Here's Booz. Now off the foot of Ramajiku. That ball will send out the end line. So here's Booz back in. Booz still in, I should say. Not a lot of substitution opportunities for the Central Detroit team. Gomez Ruiz wants the foul. He's going to get it. Believe that is the first foul of the day for Futsal Factory. We'll make sure to keep you updated on that. I missed a few in the first half. Glad we were able to catch it before that magical 6th foul came on the Inter Detroit side. Save! Almost into the trash can directly to her right. That would have been excellent. Great save for Damron. 2nd of the half. 11th of the day for him. Nate Booz, guarded by Schwartz. Yarley Martins directly in front of Barrera. Booz now to Gomez Ruiz. Brett Russell, far side corner, double teamed. Can he get out of it? No, he cannot. Possession back to Futsal Factory. Upcoming games for both of these teams. We'll look to see, make sure that ball goes out of bounds before I announce this. Futsal Factory not playing next week. Their next game is going to be at home against Cadence February 8th. That game is set to take place at High Velocity at 7 p.m. And for Inter Detroit, next week, here's going to be potential goal opportunity. We'll update you here in a second. What kind of magic are we seeing here? Yarley Martin's trying to do something crazy. But either way, possession goes back to Inter Detroit. Gomez Ruiz splits the double team, not quite, goes out of bounds. Futsal Factory called for the 2nd foul of the half. 8:25 left to go here in the game. Inter Detroit will be a part of a doubleheader next week. So the way that this is going to work, this is the first time we're seeing, kicked directly into the stomach of Robert Damron. That cannot feel good. Brett Russell trying to go for the ball. It was a legal play. Didn't recognize Damron was coming up for the ball and just kicked him straight in the gut. That is a tough shot to take, no matter who you are. Timekeeper directly to my right says happens every week. Well, I don't know. That looks like he looks like Damron's in a lot of pain right now. So they're going to take a second, make sure Damron's okay and upright. Pletcher is up and ready to get back into the game if he needed to. Remember, he started this game and had 2 saves but allowed 3 goals in the opening 4 minutes of the game. Well, we'll take this time to talk about Inter Detroit. So this is the first time, I believe, the NFPL is doing this where they're having a doubleheader weekend where Inter Detroit will travel to Chicago, Illinois to take on Cadence SFC. Their first game will be February 1st, Saturday, February 1st at 7 p.m. And then the next day at noon, they're going to play another game on the 2nd. So 2 games in 2 days helps reduce costs for travel for these teams that don't have all the money on planet Earth in order to travel back and forth from Chicago all the time. So they're going to take care of their 2 games in Chicago in 1 weekend. Instead, we'll also have, I believe, New Mexico Gloom and Colorado Futsal will have a doubleheader as well. So those games, just to be clear, they're on Chicago time. So if you're watching on the East Coast, if you're an Inter Detroit fan, they'll be at 8 p.m. and then 1 p.m. on back-to-back days, February 1st and 2nd. So Gomez Ruiz sends it back in. Here's Nate Booz off the leg of Schwartz. Booz sends it back in, able to keep possession. Booz, excellent slide from Drew Ducker. Finds Yarley. Martins directly in front of me. Keeps the ball in play, fighting off Gomez Ruiz. Gomez Ruiz just a little too tough for that. And almost had a goal there. off the leg of Nate Booz, ends up sending it far, just a little too much to the right, but it is a corner. So Booz wants it off the leg of Ducker. Drew Ducker now puts it back in, or keeps the ball in play, excuse me. Gonna find Ramashiku. Cal Suleiman, he scored a goal already through the legs of Barrera. Ball still in play though, and it's gonna be sent directly into our table. I had PTSD flashbacks. I had a personal laptop get completely obliterated by a futsal ball. A couple months, it was about 6 months ago to the day almost. So, foul gonna be called on Cal Suleiman there. Taking a second to catch my breath here. I mean, I don't mind if the ball hits me, I guess. I'm not as tough as Ivan Barrera, but my equipment, it's not priceless, but you know, there's a hefty tag that comes with it. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz trying to get back to the ball, not able to do so. Ball's gonna be sent out of bounds. But there was a foul on the other side from the Factory. Make sure to add that there. Rhett Russell off the foot of Nasrallah. Sorry, that's Josh Jason-Kevich back in. That ball sent a little too high, almost hit the girls that are hiding behind that little basketball thing. What are they doing over there? Where are your parents at? Almost got obliterated by a futsal ball. I would hate to see that happen. Here's a turnover opportunity. Cal Suleiman saved by Borjas. Quick leg work of Borjas, 5th save of the half, 17th of the day. Robert Damron getting involved in the offense once again. Jason-Kevich now far side, wants a goal. Gonna be sent into the other field of play. 6:38 left to go. Seven to 4 lead, Futsal Factory. Have had a lot of things go their way and pretty much mistakes, I would say, by Enter Detroit. Call there, I'm not sure if it was some sort of handball or foul call. It looks like just a little too much language coming out of the mouth of Edwin Gomez-Ruiz, the captain for Inter Detroit. Scored 2 goals last week, scored 1 today, and assisted on 1. That ball sent out a little too far. But Inter Detroit, if this result holds, they'll fall to 0-2, 0 points on the year. Cadence SFC yet to play a game, so a doubleheader against them. If they can win at least one of those, can find themselves in good shape. Top 2 teams will go to the semifinals. Thankfully for them, only 3 teams compete out of the Midwest. So I know Futsal Factory is the heavy favorite to be in first place, so these 2 games next week are going to be interesting. Saved off the hand of Damron. Didn't need to extend his hand out there, but he did, and ended up deflecting out wide, but there's a chance for an ill-fated goal. Not going to happen there. So here's Barrera, now to Russell. Enter Detroit trying to keep whatever shape they can, regardless of the players that they have on the court. Borjas is out of the goal, so just a little bit to the right, and Dono would have had his 5th goal of the day. Nate Booz back on his own. Here's Barrera, saved by Nasrallah. Not quite, goes out of bounds. Barrera is able to get the ball back to Inter Detroit. Sends it back in. Put it in too fast, so it is going to go now to Futsal Factory side. 5:49 to go here. Inter Detroit trying to just retain whatever they can. This game certainly isn't over, but a lot of things are going in Futsal Factory's favor. It looks like that's 5-4 Futsal Factory, so if they end up giving up a penalty kick, it could flip the momentum back towards Inter Detroit's favor. Nate Booz handling the ball. Defense gonna lighten up a little bit just to make sure they don't go into penalty kick territory. Booz deflects it. It's going to be Nasrallah coming back. Guy Ramos wants the goal. Pass just a little too much on there. Here's Dono trying to save the possession. Sends it off the leg of Barrera. Danger zone opportunity. Here's Loict. The young player that he is, sends it in. Gives it immediately to the other side. Nate Booz. Excuse me, that's Brett Russell. Saving it. Not quite. Barragan. Nate Booz gonna take a shot. Not the power that he wants on it, so it's an easy save for Damron. A little jostling there in the far corner. Look to see whose ball it is. Less than 5 minutes to go here in the game. Loic's gonna put it back in. Here's Dono. Wants that 5-goal marker like he had last time around. That time goes off the leg. Here's Jason Kevich. Trying to save the possession. Here's Brett Russell. Looking more at the ball and not towards the goal, so he sends it out wide. Guy Ramos comes back in. Drew Ducker, head coach and player for his team, will come back in. Jason Kevich. No, excuse me, that is Ramajiku. Sends it out to Loic. Both young players in their own right. Ducker gets pushed over from behind, not going to call it. Barrera sends it off the hands of Damron. Corner. Going to see Inter Detroit playing with more urgency. Down 3 goals. Here's Brett Russell. Too far up and wide. Gives possession back to the factory. Little push pass. That's Loic to Ducker. Ducker wants Loic. He won't get him. He's getting pummeled by Ivan Barrera, who keeps pushing on him. They're begging for a foul to be called. And he finally gets it. Here's some colorful language coming out of the mouth of Edwin Jimenez, who's not happy with that foul call. Knew he was going to get it at some point. That's why he just kept dribbling it back. Barrera's trying to bait him into fouling again. Already has 1 yellow called on him. He could force a 2nd yellow if he plays just a little too aggressively. Unsworth wanted Ramajiku there, not going to get him. So it is going to be 5-4 in favor of Inter Detroit, but Futsal Factory with more fouls on it, if that makes sense. Nate Booz near side. Edwin Gomez-Ruiz off the legs of Ducker. Goes a side out. Danger zone for them. They need to move quick. 3:31 left to go. Brett Russell wants a shot from distance. At this point in the game, that's not really what you want. You have the entire defense in front of you. Got to work a little harder to get a better shot. Jason Kevich going to check back in. Same with Yarley Martins here in a second. Another push pass to Ducker. Going to get double teamed. Finds Unsworth. Jason Kevich. Corner kick coming in. I think he wanted Ducker, but he's not going to respond to it. Here's Damron. Sends it back out. Jason Kevich wants the goal. Yarley Martins saved. Not by the keeper, though. That was Mariano Barragan stepping in to make sure that ball did not go in. A little over 3 minutes to go. Here's Ducker. Fixo spot. Guarded by Russell. Trying to push past him. Not going to. He's going to fall on the ball. No handball called. Look at Ducker getting into it. Brett Russell back. You like to see the physicality. Head coach player and pushed over by Brett Russell. 5 fouls for them, excuse me. Now 5 apiece. And it is going to be a yellow card. Robert Damron now getting in the face, trying to see if anybody wants any action. It is going to be a yellow card on Brett Russell. He was going for the ball, so it wasn't an obnoxious play per se, but just a little too much there. Ducker will be the one to take it. 2:45 left to go here. Five fouls each now. Next foul on either side. Two-man wall. Gonna send it. Wanted Kevich. Ball's gonna be sent into stratosphere. And caught into one of the hands of the FFA players to our right. 2:45 left to go in the game. Andrew Schwartz gonna send it in. Here's Damron now getting involved. How much to lose here once. Schwartz is able to get it on a skip pass. Finds the Yarley Martins, not quite. Gomez Ruiz preventing that from going anywhere. They'll look to reset. Ducker scouting a little bit, trying to see what he wants. Ramajiku, now Yarley Martins off the leg of Booze, so it goes back out to Futsal Factory. Jason Kevich puts it back in. Ducker. Walked off by Russell, but a touch of Ducker's leg last, so it is going to be an inter-Detroit ball in the attack zone. 2:12 to go here. Down 3 goals, they need to move. And Brett Russell is going to now get a talking to from the referee. Make sure that everything is okay. Both sides have had to get their fair share of talking tos up to this point. Heated game as well. Game that was very close at one point, and Guy Ramos is going to get a yellow. Again, not sure what he said, and we're not going to play bad lip reading either. I'd hate to, for any kiddos at home, to see any colorful language. So Booze will put it back in. A little over 2 minutes to go here in the game. Got to be obviously some sense of urgency trying to get it so they can at least get a point. And Booze just lets that ball go through underneath his foot. Bit of fatigue happening now at this point. Only 7 rostered players for today. Excuse me, 8, but now 7 because of the double yellow from Cardenas. Jason Kevich wanted a goal, not going to get it. Here's Booze, now sent out by Andrew Schwartz. Here's Booze. Back to Gomez Ruiz. Yarley Martins begging him to come close and goes off the leg of Martins. 1:43 to go.
Yeah!
And sent the other way. Andrew Schwartz, good defense there. At this point, Futsal Factory is just trying to prevent any goals from going in, not necessarily in attack mode or scoring mode, you should say. Damron and Drew Ducker might think otherwise, though. Kind of that old school mentality of trying to score as much as you can. But with 5 fouls each, you can't really press on defense. So you kind of have to relax back a little bit, especially if you're Factory. Don't want the scoreline to get any worse than it already is, or any lesser than it is. And an excellent goal, my goodness! Jason Kevich with the goal. Went over the head of the entire defense to double the amount that Inter-Detroit has. Excellent stuff there. Schwartz now trying to add to their lead. Ducker back to Suleiman. Andrew Schwartz not able to corral that ball, so goes out of bounds. 46 seconds left to go here in the game. Inter-Detroit just playing for experience and for training now at this point, you could say. Futsal Factory, the game of futsal is in their blood. Oh, off the back heel of Suleiman. Sports Center top 10. Oh my. (9-4), 33 seconds to go. And while it was a 4-4 score at halftime, Futsal Factory, very similar to last game, scored 5 in a row to take sole lead of this game and sole lead of the Midwest position. Ball comes my way. Ducker back into play. Now they're just looking to play the clock out. Here's off the head of Nate Booz. Trying to get, that's going to be a foul. And that is the 6th foul, so it is going to be a penalty kick here. It almost feels mean at this point. 7 seconds to go in the game. And it is going to be a chance for Cal Suleiman. Edwin Jimenez letting his voice be heard. You see him right to the left of the screen. Cal Suleiman wants a hat trick. He's going to have a chance to get it. To add to the lead. Too far up. So though the foul counted, it's not gonna count for Futsal Factory, and that time is going to expire. That is the end of the game. Final score 9-4 at the end of the game here now. Futsal Factory coming out on top once again. They already had sole possession of top of the Midwest. Now they move to 2-0, 6 points. And we will look to see if we can get either a player or a coach from Futsal Factory on the mic over here. Just get some thoughts on the game. On the mic directly in front of your screen, Thomas Dono scored 5 last week, 4 last week. I mean, how do you think the game went?
Oh man, honestly, not great.
Okay.
We started really poorly, gave up a couple poor ones, especially my giveaway there in the middle of the game. But you know, the second half much better, no goals for them, and we're pretty satisfied with that.
How do you stay motivated, or not motivated, but how do you stay focused when you go down 3-1?
Sure. Honestly, it's just knowing that we're a pretty good team and can just keep working hard, and eventually we'll put some away.
So you scored the most goals. You're most likely going to be match player of the week once again. But if you had to give it to somebody else, who would you give it to?
Man, honestly, Robert, our goalkeeper. He took one in the nuts, and that was pretty great. But no, he in all seriousness, he probably made like 20-25 saves. So really, it's got to be him. He's our leader and a rock between the sticks there.
Damn near close to 20-25. Thank you so much for your time, Thomas.
No problem. Thank you.
We'll be back on the other side of this with the post-game report. Thanks to Thomas for his time here. Final score 9-4. Futsal Factory up over Inter Detroit. Inter Detroit not able to score in the second half at all. And it was a tale of two halves. You saw how the game started, and you heard from Thomas Dono just a few seconds ago that the score was 3-1 just a few minutes into the game in favor of Inter Detroit. Matthew Pletcher came in, had 2 saves, but allowed 3 goals. And from then on, Dan Ron was able to come in. I believe he was coaching a game earlier in the game. So he was able to come in, make those saves that he needed to, and you heard Thomas Dono give him match player of the week himself. So excellent stuff from there. 4-4 was the score at halftime, but 5 scores in a row from Futsal Factory. 2 of them from Thomas Dono, 2 of them from Cal Suleiman. And Josh Jasonkevich having a highlight goal of his own there as well, scoring over the top of the defense. So excellent stuff here from UWM Sports Complex here in Pontiac, Michigan. Players gonna take their pictures and get off the court. And for everybody here at the NFPL, for the timekeepers to my right, for the cameraman, and for myself, my name is Garrett Pog. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week for 2 doubleheaders, 1 in the Southwest, 1 in the Midwest. Thank you so much, and have a good night.